What is up, tribe members? How's it going today? Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to go over some retouching skills that you can do in Lightroom, and we're going to be using the preset from the Element Air collection. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and open up Lightroom to the photograph that I want to work on. Now this girl is Megan. She went to respiratory therapy school with me the last 2.5 years over at Boise State. So she's currently graduated, working in the hospital, as am I. And I knew I had always wanted to photograph her, specifically because she has red hair, and I had always had this vision with red hair with a green background. And let me tell you, it is the most beautiful combination ever. So on this particular day, it had snowed a bunch in Boise, so we went to the local park. And yeah, we had set her up, and this is what I shot her. Keep in mind, this is 80% natural light, and when I say 80%, the other 20% is the Yagnu, I think it's the YN 360, it's an ice light wand. Now she has an ice light just above her head right here, and then she has one kind of like as a kicker, as a hair light right here. So it's beautiful because it gets rid of the shadows, and I wish I had a before and after picture. But if you guys are kind of nervous about using flash and you really want to use something that kind of works during the daytime too, but you don't want to go out and buy an alien bee or anything like that, just check out the Yagnu ice lights. You can find them on Amazon. They're perfect. They're like 80 bucks, but you got to buy the extra battery pack. So perfect money well spent for sure. So let's get into it, guys. This is the original photo. First thing I'm going to do is crop it because it's kind of bothering me. We're going to do, I'm kind of into the rule of thirds, but at the same time, like I feel like if you crop how you want it. That's what's great about photography. It's an art. Go up like this. Perfect. Okay, so what I shot with was a Nikon D810, and I also shot with an 85mm. Now I was on a kick there for a while shooting 35mm only until I bought the Sigma 85mm 1.4. I did not buy the art because the art was not going to be released until about 3 months after I bought this one. So for the most part, it works amazingly. I can only imagine how well the art does. So I shot her at a 2.0 with 1,000/2 of a shutter speed with an ISO of 200, and this is pretty dang sharp. When I first bought the 85, there was something wrong with it, either the calibration, and then there was also a fuzz behind the lens. So I had to send it back into Sigma. They fixed it right away. I got my lens back super quick within, I want to say, 2 weeks, and now it's all I shoot with. So I'm just going to actually fix the crop again. I want it more close up. So the presets I'm going to be using today are from the Element collection, and man, there's so many over here, but I was looking through them, and I think I found the one that I want to use. And I think I'm going to be using the A01. Maybe. This is the hardest part, is finding the preset that works best for you. So I kind of want it more of a darker, moodier, and if you guys know my work, I'm all about the dark, I'm all about the mood. I actually like between 4 and 5, I think, because 1, I don't know. What do you guys think? 5. Oh, it's so hard. That's the hardest thing when you have so many great presets that work. It's just, oh, it's hard. Okay, it's between this one and this one. I like this, what it's doing for the skin tone. So let's go with 5. I'm going to go with 5. So what I like about this one is it even makes her skin look even better. Like, shooting with an 85 is incredible. It's an absolutely stunning lens, and it's a must-have if you are a wedding photographer. So we're going to go with that, okay? So I'm actually just going to reset because now I know the one that I want to go with is the A05 right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some tweaks over on this side. And if you guys follow my other videos, you'll know that I always do my color correcting first. Just because that is just the easiest way to get a photograph that you're happy with. So then let's go with the A01 or A05 and then kind of bump her up just a little bit. And this looks like it's from, you know, back in the 70s or 60s. It's just got that beautiful film look, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to show you guys some retouching skills real quick. And if you're new to Lightroom, welcome to Lightroom. It's the first tool I ever used to learn how to do Photoshop. So now that we have our base going, we're going to work on the skin. So the first thing I always like to do is clean up any kind of blemishes that the model or subject may have. So I'm going to go into my circle, which is our spot healing tool. You can use clone or heal, and I will do a Photoshop tutorial as well here in the future, showing you guys how to retouch in Photoshop, because it's definitely different. It's definitely different. Photoshop has a lot more tools that you can use for retouching, which I really like. So I'm gonna just kind of go around. Her skin is actually it's pretty awesome the way that it is. She's got beautiful skin. And again, if you have a beautiful lens and you shoot at a lower aperture, you get such a beautiful blur to the skin. So her eyes are in focus, but her skin has that beautiful blur to it. Perfect. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to our brushes. And if you go to where it says effect, you can open up your toolbar. So if you notice these ones down here, if you have ever bought the Visco presets, I think any Visco pack you come with, or sorry, any Visco pack you purchase comes with these brushes. But really, all they are some brushes that are easy to use. So what you can do is you can save your current settings as a new preset. So if you go, let's see, we're going to go with dodging. So if you look at the dodge, it's 0.5, okay? So if we go over here and we go up and we go to exposure, we can make our own dodge brush. So 0.5, just like that. And yeah, there we go. We'll do that just around there. And then we can always go to save current settings as a new brush, and we can go to dodge brush. So then when you go to your saved brushes, you will have your dodge brush. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the key points of her face. So we're going to kind of get in a little bit close. There we go. That's maybe too close. There we go. And we're just going to highlight the key points of her face. Now, just like in makeup artistry, less is more. You don't want to go a whole bunch. And I think just even doing it subtly just makes a huge difference. So just come where you see some highlights, her hair. And if you find that the dodge is a little intense, which it's looking like it's a little intense, we can always turn it down right over here. And then you can just save your preset. But this way, it creates more of a 3D image instead of a 2D image. And that's the hardest part about photography, is creating depth into your photo. So if you're dodging and burning, you create a ton of depth. So if we go here, and if we go our before and after, you can already tell in the hair, there's just, you can see the highlights are just making it pop more. And then we're gonna go to, we're gonna burn. Oops. So to my burn brush. And as you can see, burn is the opposite of dodging. So now we're at 0.5. And we're just going to burn the sides of the face. Always, I like going underneath the model's nose or the subject's nose, in between where the lips are, over the eyelashes, and anywhere you see shadow. Definitely around the chin. You can do a ton of dodging and burning and not even have to worry about trying to liquefy. If you have gotten better over the years with retouching, 90% of what Sue Bryce does is I don't like that. Too dark on the hair. Sue Bryce does a ton of dodging and burning, and that is how she can get away with not having to liquefy. So I pretty much go anywhere where I see like a shadow, and that just creates a ton of depth. And then you can always go in and do the eyes too, which I highly recommend. You can go and sharpen the eyes. So I think I have a sharpen tool somewhere. We'll go up here and just kind of sharpen the iris. Click done. Always make sure you click done, because then that will allow you to open up another brush. If you don't, it's going to change what you. So if you just click sharpen and you didn't hit done, if I were to go to like dodge, anything else will be, it'll change it to dodge. So make sure you always click done. So let's go to iris enhance. As you can see, it just changes saturation, it changes exposure, and also the clarity. So we can just kind of go there and there. And click done. Do a little before and after. Already a huge difference. And even with the preset, it just makes it has more of a depth. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some vignetting around my subject to really make her stand out. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of split toning. And so what that does is it changes the colors of the shadows and the highlights in the photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this little box, and I'm going to, for the highlights, I like to do shadows first. So just think opposite. So if you're going to choose red for your shadows, you want to choose cyan for your highlights. If you choose I believe it's magenta for your shadows, choose green for your highlights. And then if you choose blue for your shadows, you want to choose yellow for your highlights. So because she has red hair, I kind of want to emphasize the red that is in this photo. So I'm going to choose kind of a red over here. That's a little intense. So I'm going to turn it down over here. It doesn't need to be too intense. Probably anywhere between 1 to 3. 4 is even a little bit pushing it too. So now that I did red on my shadows, I'm going to counteract with the highlights. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to choose cyan for the highlights. And that just gives it an even cooler looking color tone. Like that. Perfect. Okay. So I think for the most part, that is just a quick video on how to kind of retouch quickly in Lightroom. Like I said, I'm going to make a video about how I retouch in Photoshop. It's pretty similar to this, except you can go a little more extensive. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.